Bryce,
Right. Hello.
welcome to Spill It with Morg.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
A little nervous, but we'll get through it.
Well, I'm happy to have you on, and you chose for us to try these Sunny D vodka seltzers. New. You've not tried it yet, right?
I have not.
Okay, me either.
I've had a lot of Sunny D as a kid, so when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it's a good opportunity to try it." So,
Yeah. Okay,
what
I'm
better time
nervous.
than on the podcast?
I'm kind of nervous because what if it ruins the taste of Sunny D for me?
It very well could, but I don't drink it anymore, so it'll be all right.
Okay, all right, well, let's try it. I just want to smell it first. Oh, it really does smell like Sunny D.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Just feel like Sunny D and adding vodka to it,
Yeah. All right. Well, cheers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Oh,
I don't mind that at all. I don't even
actually,
really
it's
taste
not that
the.
bad.
I
It
don't
tastes
taste
like,
the alcohol in it.
yeah, it tastes like orange juice.
It tastes like an Alani New almost. Like an
Mm-hmm.
orange flavor, like what I would think an Alani New. It's got a little bit of like carbonation to it, so obviously
No,
seltzer.
there's something that it reminds me of. Something specific.
Yeah, Sunny D.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, no, I think there's like, okay, so there is a White Claw flavor that is tangerine. I think that's what it reminds me of.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it is. Huh. I kind of like that. Okay. Well, okay, so what would you rate it out of 10?
From a pure, like from an alcoholic drink
Or maybe like a seltzer standpoint.
for a seltzer, honestly, I'm a big fan. I'm like 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Well, like most, like a lot of the White Claws and stuff, you can taste the alcohol.
Yeah.
I really
true.
don't taste it.
I don't either.
And for me, that's
Yeah.
it's ideal if I don't have to taste it.
That works. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
It's still a respectable score.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I could drink this all the time. It's better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't had Sunny D in so long.
No.
So now they make it for adults. I love that. Okay, so on the topic of alcohol, what kind of alcohol do you normally like to drink? I know you don't drink very much.
I really don't. I mean, I rarely drink. I mean, anytime I do, it's just like whenever I go out with like my friends or something like that.
Yeah.
Or if I go to the Mexican restaurant or something, I'll typically get like a margarita. But I mean, I'm not a huge alcohol guy, so I mean, I don't have like specific drinks where I'm like I go out and I have to get it every time.
Right.
I know like my brother and a lot of his friends and that we hang out with like whiskey, and I can't do it. I mean, I just bourbon and whiskey and all that. I wish I liked it, but it's
I wish
just
I did
not
too.
for me. And people like to say girly drinks, but I mean to me, I enjoy them more than I like like a whiskey or and it's got plenty of alcohol in it. So typically I'll just go with a mixed drink or a margarita or something like that.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hate dark liquor and especially whiskey. I just can't. I've tried so hard.
I have to.
Oh, and I mean, I'm nervous like for the future episodes I have planned because I know like some of my guy friends are going to like want to do like dark liquors and like so I'm just like, oh please no, no. But that's the point. I want everybody to choose their own, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. I love a margarita. Margaritas are so good. Do you like them frozen or on the rocks?
I'm a frozen person.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. No, I like them on the rocks because I like to get more alcohol.
That's like I had this debate with somebody, and we actually were at a Mexican restaurant, and we asked the waiter,
tell you
and they told us that frozen has more.
Oh.
I mean, yeah. Which
it doesn't taste like that though.
I don't know. It's almost
you also
just
get
like
drunk quicker because you get brain freezes.
I mean, I know it sounds like dumb, but it's almost like I'm drinking like a slushy for like an adult, and it's fun.
It's fair enough.
Yeah. So I'm a strawberry frozen margarita with sugar. So
okay, so moving on to the topic, I always talk about this with all my guests. How did we become friends?
Well, obviously we've known each other since middle school, or even I think it was probably middle school when we first actually ever talked.
Right.
So I would start there. I mean, we've had the same friend groups growing up for years now. I would say it's probably in the last couple of years that we've gotten closer. When did you move up to Indianapolis? What was that?
Okay, so someone else
time
asked
frame?
me this the other day. So I'm coming up on 2 years. So I
That's what
moved
I was
up
thinking
in.
about. 2 years. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wait. Oh my, that's kind of crazy to think about. Like, I mean, it's. I mean, I still have like a few months until then. Like, I think it was like in September when I officially like moved up here. So yeah, so about 2 years ago.
So yeah, I've been here since 2012, since I graduated high school. So
Oh my
11
gosh,
years
it's so
now.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. So I would say probably a couple years ago, whenever you moved up here, we started
Mm-hmm.
hanging out more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just recently started going to the gym together and stuff. So that's definitely brought us closer. So I would say friends, many years. Close friends, probably a couple years now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, you are my gym partner
yeah,
because no one else really goes to Vasa.
yeah.
So, but it's a
They're
great
missing
gym.
out. Missing out.
They're missing out so much. I mean, it's intimidating to go there at first because like those people take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And I mean, I take my fitness, serious, but not like to that extent. So like when I go by myself sometimes, especially in the afternoons, I am so overwhelmed by all the like I don't want to call them meatheads, but meatheads
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I mean, they're intimidating. So going with you makes it a little bit better. We got to go this week.
I'm down.
Okay, I know I go super late. Sorry.
It's fine.
I'm hoping I can go this week, but
As long as I can go, it's always fun to go with somebody. I mean, like I went today and I was by myself, and I get a good workout in, but it's always fun when you have somebody there. You can
yeah,
talk. It helps it go by quicker. Um, I feel like I'm not there by myself. Just
right.
yeah,
Yeah, no, and I mean, when I go in the mornings, I've tried to get you to come with me in the mornings. It's just too early for you. But I have
yeah.
like my people in the morning now. I have my gym dads, I call them. They're not like together, but they are like best friends. And they're these two older men that go to the gym, and they've kind of like taken me underneath their wings. So I started calling them my gym dads because they're like in their like 50s, I think. Just looking at them, I don't know for sure. And I talk to them every single morning, and it's nice to like talk with them. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
always nice to find, even like if you don't know them on a friend level,
right.
there's always people there. Like I've got multiple people where I just see them in the gym and we know each other.
Yeah.
We follow each other on Instagram, and it's just like that common knowledge, of each other
Yeah.
being in there, you say hey and everything. So
Right.
that's always fun. I mean, I probably would never hang out with a lot of these people outside of the
Right.
gym, which I hate to say, but it's just like, it's those people who are just like, oh hey,
Just kind of
we
keep
know each
it
other.
real brief
Yeah,
and move on. Yeah, no, whenever we're at the gym together, you are always constantly going, like waving at people. And I go, who's that? Like, how do you know? I'll follow them on
Oh, he's
Instagram. That's so and so, and they're dating so and
he's a
so, and they're
friend. He's a
like, I'm like, oh
friend.
my gosh, you literally know everybody. But that's helpful because if there's ever a guy that I like, I'm gonna
Well,
just
I
send
may
you
know
out
him.
to get to know
I
him.
may
That's
know
what I'm
him.
gonna do. I'm gonna say, Bryce, go figure out who this person is. That's what I'm gonna start doing. How long have you been going to the gym like consistently? You would say.
Probably since I graduated high school. I mean, obviously we went to the gym at the school
Mm-hmm.
in high school for basketball and stuff like that. But it was never like we were going there to work out and actually be
Right.
we were just kids, and we kind of a lot of times just goofed off because we
Yep.
could. So I would say consistently going to the gym since 2012. So a little over 10 years now. I would say really taking my training and stuff like that seriously. Um, the last couple of years probably.
Mm-hmm.
I hired a trainer there for a while. Unfortunately, he did pass away, um, but I learned a lot with him.
Mm-hmm.
Learned how to do a lot of the dieting and that kind of stuff, which is, people say dieting is like everything, and people just don't get that. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, what are you doing? What's this? What's that? I'm just like, it all starts with diet, and I didn't really pay attention to that kind of stuff until the last couple of years. Until I hired somebody and they were giving me these meal plans and things like that, and it made a huge difference. I've made big strides over the last couple of years. Um, I was at one point eating close to 5,000 calories a day, and then I'll be completely honest, it was to where there were a lot of days where I just didn't make it, or
Mm-hmm.
I cheated here or missed a meal here. But I mean, just having that goal and having that set, I was getting very close, which is much more food than I've ever ate in the past. So it definitely helped. I mean, even if I was hitting 4,500 and I wasn't hitting that 5,000, that was 4,500 calories of clean food. It wasn't like I was going out to McDonald's and
right.
getting Big Macs. I was eating chicken and rice and beef, steak, those kind of things. So I would say that was just huge. So any advice I could give to people out there, really work on your diet. I mean, it doesn't even mean that you have to hire a trainer, because I know that's expensive, and a lot of people don't want to put that in their budget as far as money goes. So look up stuff. Even reach out to people that have done it. Reach out to me. Reach out to any of your friends that that I got a lot of friends out there that know a lot about dieting and fitness and stuff. So it all starts there. I mean, that's just best like advice I can give someone that's starting out. That's just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Focus on your diet first, and then focus on your physical part.
Gotcha. How many days a week do you typically work out?
I try to do 5 to 6, and rest days are important. People think, oh, I don't need a rest day or things like that. Just the way our bodies work, you can get bogged down by not taking the rest days. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I feel guilty for taking a rest day. A lot of people don't. A lot of people love their rest days and take more than they should. But there's just times where I'll get into it to where I've gone like 4 days in a row, 4 or 5 days in a row, and I'm like, man, I really need to take a day off, just because I'll start to notice that I'm just
not
worn out.
I'm
trying to hit a number that I did last week and I just can't. And I'm like, well, it's probably because I've been hitting it for 4 days straight. So,
right.
Try to do like 5 to 6.
Nice. I try to do 5 as well.
If I don't hit that 5, I'm like, man, I'm lazy.
I know that's the problem about setting like a day, like a set day of like how many times you want to go to the gym, because if you miss like not hitting that, it's so, I don't know, you just feel like you failed yourself a little bit, because I've really gotten in my head about stuff like that. I'm like, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. We just get back at it next week.
I mean, that's the thing, is as long as you're going consistently, you're doing better than somebody that's sitting at home not doing anything.
Right.
And I try to stress that to people. I'm like, anything helps. Even if there's a day I'm like, I just can't go to the gym, get up and go on a walk.
Right.
Go take a mile walk.
Let's go do something.
That mile walk is much more than what you think it is. You're getting up and moving your body that day. You're not sitting around being lethargic for 48 hours and not doing anything. So just get up and move.
Would you say, so the topic of body dysmorphia, I feel like was really, really strong about like women for a long time, and it still is a thing, obviously. But do you think, like, for you, in a weird way, like whenever you started going to the gym and seeing results, did your body dysmorphia get worse?
I mean, I still kind of deal with it, but what I've tried to realize is stop trying to compare yourself to other people, because there's always going to be somebody out there that's bigger and better than you. Focus on yourself. Take a picture of yourself, at the beginning of your journey, and take pictures every week, every 2 weeks, whatever it may be, depending on how active you are, and start to see those results and be happy with your results. Too many people are like, I'm busting my ass, but I'm not seeing any results. I go to the gym and I'm seeing these other people, and a lot of people don't take those progress photos, and then they've gotten a month into it, 2 months into it, and they're like, I haven't seen any difference. And I'm like, I do. It's because you see yourself every day, and you don't see those small changes day after day after day, because you're seeing yourself every day. It's very small changes, but over a course of a month, 2 months, 3 months, if you take that picture at the beginning and then you take another one, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, yeah, there is a huge difference.
Right.
And as far as like the body dysmorphia thing goes, is that's one thing I've really tried to focus on, is paying attention to my body, myself, versus comparing myself to other people. Nobody's going to look the same. No two people are going to look the same. No two people are going to have the same journey. So focus on yourself and bettering yourself. And in the end, I think you're going to be a lot happier. And I know that's hard to say, because I catch myself doing it too. I'll be in the gym and I'm like, I'm thinking I'm looking good, and then some guy walks over and he's like standing next to me, and I'm like, shit.
That's good advice, because I personally feel like my body dysmorphia got way worse once I started going to the gym, because you're right, like whenever you see all those people in there that like have been working out for years. I mean, that's the thing too, is like whenever you first start, you like are just starting versus someone who's been in there for a long time and has like really worked hard to build that body. So that's something I need to work on too, because really, really bad about it.
We all are. I mean, I'm sure even the best of the best, they look at other people and like, man, you know, this part of their body, you know, their arms, their back, their chest, whatever it may be. I'm like, I can't grow that. At the end of the day, you know, I've got what I've got and I'm happy with it. But, you know, it does suck whenever you see somebody and they're like, you know, working out next to you and you're like, man, why can't I have a chest like that? You know? So just focus on yourself, try to be happy with what you have and improving yourself.
Well, that's good advice. Since we go to the gym together, it kind of sucks because people automatically assume that we are together or we're dating.
Yep.
So
anytime you go with the opposite sex or anything,
everyone
like
automatically
that,
assumes, and you're just like, dang it.
It's always the days that happens that you see
you find
someone
the hottest person. Like that was like that was that a couple weeks ago. Wow. Okay, so I guess like moving into the topic of how do you approach, especially in this day and age where people are getting ripped apart on social media for approaching women at the gym, how would you go about it respectfully and properly if you actually found someone attractive, like wanted to talk to them?
I mean, honestly, I have. I mean, there's obviously attractive people in the gym everywhere you go, and I don't really go up to these people or talk to them. You know, we acknowledge each other. You know, I may say hi or nod my head or smile at somebody, but I don't usually go out of my way to go talk to someone. But if I did, and it's not even that I just don't have the confidence. It's just I know that a lot of people don't enjoy whenever men do that, especially.
Yeah.
But if I was, I would just try to be nice about it, approach someone and just pat them up, ask them questions. It's not like you want to walk up to somebody and be like, hey, I was watching you from,
Right.
Don't do that.
Don't.
Because it immediately sends off the weird vibes that, so I would just, and then whatever that question may be, it depends on the person because each person, has different hobbies or whatever it may be, or maybe that person's wearing something that day that you notice your favorite team that you root for. If someone was wearing like an IU shirt or something, you can walk up and talk about, oh hey, did you see the game the other day, or blah blah blah, something like that. Just creating conversation. I think that's your best in. I mean, you don't have to do anything crazy, even if it's just a quick conversation, 30-second conversation, minute conversation. You've planted the seed, and now you can introduce yourself. They know your name, all that good stuff. So the next time you come around, you've already broke the ice. They know your name. You've seen each other. You've talked. So gradually, just having more conversations going forward. Don't just walk up to someone and be like, "Oh, I thought you were hot." There are a few people out there that would be like into that, but it's finding that right person is going to be very hard. Yeah. Most people would be very like turned off by that and be like, oh, okay. So I would say just small conversations, sparking up, a conversation is probably your best way, your best bet.
So so I had a gym crush a while ago.
You did?
We just go ahead and talk about it. Yeah, everyone that knew me knew I had one. He was called Gym Bro. Eventually I did learn his name, so he was no longer called Gym Bro. And he didn't act like a gym bro. I just gave him that name because he was like young and attractive. I don't know. So
because you didn't know his name.
Because I didn't know his name. I had to give him a nickname so everybody knew who I was talking about. And this went on for about 6 months where I was just like, checking this guy out at the gym, like wondering how to approach it. I just am so not confident sometimes when it comes to approaching men in the gym. I just could never. So my gym dads finally like hyped me up enough. They're like, you can do this, you got this. So
everyone was trying to hype you up.
Everyone was, but like it's because my gym dads were there in the moment. Like they knew to like get me going. I was like, okay, here we go. So I was over in the squat racks and I asked him to spot me. That's what I did. And
I'm pretty sure that was one of my ideas. I'm just going to throw it out there.
It was. Yes. So he came and he helped spot me. And that was it. That was it. And so like, I think the next day or maybe 2 days later, I went up to him. I'm like, I just realized, I don't know if I ever said thank you actually out loud, but thank you for spotting me. And then I asked for his name and got his name.
See how that works?
Yeah,
you got your
the seed.
Yep. You broke the ice. There you go.
So then him and I would talk to each other just like here and there, like just like passing by. And he was like, oh yeah, like I moved here, whenever I work here, blah, blah, blah. And like there was times like we would walk out at the same time and like would talk to. I was like, man, this is going well. So then one day I was like, I'm gonna ask for his number. This is so embarrassing. I just hate it.
Please tell us.
Oh no. Okay, so my gym dads again were like hyping me up. They're like, just go do it, just go do it. And I walked up and I started stuttering really fast. I walked up and I was like, I asked Mike how his weekend was, and I was like, "Did you have to work?" Because he before told me he had to work on the weekends. He's like, "Yeah, I did." And I was like, "I'm sorry if this is really forward, but can I have your number?" And it did not come out that smooth. It just didn't. It came out very like rushed and like I knew my face was red. And he was like, "I have a girlfriend. Sorry." And I was like, "I am so embarrassed." I went back to my gym dads and I said, I'm going to leave now. And they were like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, no, I need to leave. I'm so embarrassed.
But also at the same time, at least he was a decent enough guy
to tell me how to, yes,
yeah.
I agree with that 100%. But also I'm like,
there's a lot of people out there would not tell you.
Right. But it was also just kind of awkward. Like in our past conversations, he never said like, oh, my girlfriend and I moved here. Or like, and maybe she already lived here and he moved here to like be here with her. I don't know. Or like, oh yeah, or like my girlfriend and I mean, I was kind of like, oh, he never brought her up before. I don't know. And like maybe he just like he didn't need to. I don't know.
And I get from his standpoint because whenever, say, if a girl approaches me and I'm in a relationship, if there's never a feeling of like I need to say something,
yeah,
because like, how awkward it'd be if someone came up to you and they're just like, oh hey, by the way, how are you or whatever,
yeah,
and they're like, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like I get some women are like,
Right.
anytime someone talks to you, it's like
I have a boyfriend.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to be that person. If it's warranted, then definitely I'll just be like,
Right.
yeah, I'm with someone, so I didn't want to give you the wrong impression.
Yeah. Well, that makes you feel better than at least I wasn't being like.
Whenever
too pushy.
you asked for the phone number, that's when he was like, oh yeah, I should
Need to put a boundary here. Yeah.
So good for him.
Oh, it was so awkward. Yeah, no, good for him. He's a good guy, very loyal. That was great. And like after that, it was more like a little hi in the gym. It was so awkward. And then now he doesn't go anymore. He doesn't go anymore. So now I've lost my motivation.
Makes it easier for you though, so.
No, I've lost my motivation.
Yeah. There's plenty out there. It's a hard place to, I mean, for me anyway, it's a hard place to try to pick
I think
up
for
somebody.
men it's probably a little bit harder.
Yeah. I don't like the fact of, thinking if I do try to approach someone,
are you going to be seen as creepy or
yeah.
I think that's why it has to be a very fine line. Like for me, I don't mind if a guy approaches me at the gym as long as it, is respectful. Like I had a guy approach me and ask me out at the gym, and I did say yes because I didn't know what else to say.
Was this a down bad moment or just like
no? I said yes.
Did you want to go?
No. And I said yes.
See,
it came out like
that's where you probably should.
It came out like word vomit because I can't do it in person. I can't be like, no.
Was this your first interaction?
No, like our second or third.
Okay. So I was gonna say if he comes off like first interaction,
yeah, no. This was like second or third,
like,
and he was really nice. Like, don't get me wrong. I just also like this was like when I first moved up here, and like I wasn't like really wanting to go on any dates right away. So when he asked me to go, I was like, yeah. And then he got my number, and then I eventually was like, I'm going to have to message him and tell him, no, sorry. And he got the hint. So he never messaged me again. Actually doesn't go at the same time as me anymore. I mean, that happened like way later. It was not because of me. So he stopped going at that time now. So, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you at least told him before.
I would never. I don't want to ghost him. That's so mean and rude. So no, I did tell him beforehand.
And that's another thing is like approaching people like that. Like again, you really didn't know if you wanted to go, but you didn't know what to say, so you said yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to. Yeah, came right out. I don't want to. I don't know.
I don't want to reject someone in person. That just I would hate. I don't know. I would get secondhand embarrassment. Even if they weren't embarrassed, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I would just apologize profusely. I would feel so bad.
That's like where you're too nice comes in. And you're just like, I can't say no.
I can't help it. I can't help it. I always feel bad. Now there are some people I don't feel bad telling no to, so it's fine.
Well, there are some weirdos out there. So yeah. And the whole like look but don't touch, that's not okay. If this person's in a relationship, or that even if that person's standing right there, like I would never do that to someone.
Yeah.
It just, that kind of stuff drives me up the wall. And I've been told to, hey, don't say anything. And I'm like, you're not going to say anything, so I'm going to. Like, this, it's not okay.
Yeah.
So for any of you people out there that are doing that stuff, stop, please. On behalf of the women and the men. So
knock it off. Knock it off. If you catch a girl looking at you more than like twice in one session, are you pretty much underneath the assumption that like, yeah, they're into you, or like they're wanting you to like come talk to them?
I don't know. See, it's hard, because there's times where I'll catch someone looking at me and I'm thinking they're looking at me because they think that I'm attractive, or it may be the case where I think they're attractive and I've been looking and they're like looking to see if I'm looking at them, kind of thing. So it's like, are they looking at me because they think I'm attractive? They looking at me because they're like, is this guy staring at me, kind of thing?
Yeah.
So it's hard. And I would say, I guess the easiest way that you can tell is if they like start smiling, or like, go out of their way to be looking at you or something like that. But I mean, again, it could be they're just smiling because they're like awkward.
Just being nice.
They're just being nice.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, hey, this guy's looking at me.
So
it's so hard to know what's in someone's head.
Yeah.
So that's why I just kind of just usually don't. I don't go out of my way. And I know this is not a popular opinion, and it probably isn't with a lot of women too, but I kind of feel like at this point, I would rather have a woman approach a man in the gym. Like if I'm working out, I would rather a woman come up to me, because then I know she's interested.
Yeah.
There's a lot more men that are interested in women than women that are interested in men.
Right, at the gym especially.
So for us men, it's just like, it's hard to know which ones to approach and which ones not. So I know it's hard for me to sit here and say this because it's kind of a double standard, but I'm like, hey, if you're a woman and you think that a guy's attractive, go talk to him. Because that's the thing, is the amount of men that will go talk to women that'll get turned down is much higher than the amount of women that'll go to men and get turned down. So, that's where I am with it, and I don't like to approach women, and I probably never will. But if a woman approached me, then I know, okay, now it's okay. And I hate that that's the way it is, but
But it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of disheartening to hear. That means I'm gonna have to always be the one to approach.
And you don't always have to. There's some guys that just don't care. They're just like, they have the confidence, and they're like.
But then it's like, are they the ones I want to talk to?
That's another problem. So I mean, I would just say, women approach men. You're not gonna get shut down like you would if you were a man approaching a woman. And I mean, there are some women out there that are nice like you, that probably would not say no, and so they just be like.
But then I would tell them.
But then before you know, they're like, oh, by the way,
I'm actually not gonna go. I'm so sorry.
A lot of men like it too.
That's what I've been hearing.
So, I mean, it's true, just because of the whole fact that we don't feel comfortable going out of our way to talk.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And whenever a woman does that, or shows confidence in approaching us, it's like, it makes us feel like, okay, now it's okay.
You know what we should do? Next time we go to the gym together, we should okay, we're gonna pick out a person for each other, and like, you're gonna go talk to that girl, and like, you can say you're gonna talk to that guy, and we're gonna force each other to go do it.
This isn't out of my comfort zone enough. You're gonna throw that on me?
No, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Just once. Okay, we're moving away from the gym now.
Okay.
We talked about it enough. I'm sure everybody else that doesn't go to the gym is probably thinking, next topic.
What's next?
Next. So, you've heard the phrase, right person, wrong timing, right?
Yeah.
Familiar with that?
I am.
Okay. So my question for you is, do you believe in that saying? Like, do you believe that to be true?
Honestly, it's hard for me to answer. I don't necessarily know if I believe in any of the, right person, wrong time, or any of the alternatives of that saying, just because I feel like if two people get together and they want it enough, they can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Even if people, wrong person, wrong time, it doesn't mean that relationship is going to fail. It's all about the people that are in the relationship and how much they truly want to be in it. There may be two people that meet and they're just like, not hitting it off right away,
Mm-hmm.
but down the road it happens again, and they meet back up, and things happen. It's hard for me to say yes that's true or yes that no that's wrong, because I feel like if two people work together, they communicate, um, even if they don't have a lot in common,
Mm-hmm.
people can fall in love with people out of nowhere. I mean, or fall out of love. That kind of stuff happens, and you could be with some, or have met someone and never thought that you would ever be with them, but whenever you start to spend more time around that person, you end up falling in love. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and if you work hard enough, you communicate with each other. You never lie, you never cheat. I mean, the craziest group of people, or two people can come together and make a relationship work.
Yeah.
Too many people, even when they're the right person, right time, they go out and they cheat on someone, or something happens, or one person's not communicating, and it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it really just comes down to two people and how much they truly want to be in a relationship, or
Mm-hmm.
even want to be in a relationship with that person.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
that's
know that's kind of
fair.
a long-winded answer, not a
No.
straightforward answer, but that's the way I see it.
Essentially, you don't believe in it, though.
Not really.
Okay.
I just feel like any two people could make something work if they wanted to enough.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I'm on the same side as you. And then I don't really believe it, because the only reason why I don't believe in it is because I guess when I think about myself personally and like the people I've been with in the past, you could not pay me enough money to get back with any of them. You
Yeah.
just couldn't.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like, in my own personal life, I don't know if there's ever been a time that I have been with the right person, because I feel like they're all leading me to that particular right person, because
Yeah.
that person is going to come in at the right time when they're supposed to be. Because it just all kind of goes together. Right time, right person. That's the way I've always seen it. Is like, I think at first I thought that was the case, because I think whenever I first like broke up with my ex, I'm like, right person, wrong time. You just want to believe that so bad. You're like, oh, we'll get back together down the road. It's fine. If it's meant to be, it'll be. And like,
you start putting almost like an excuse as to why it didn't work on
exactly.
it, rather than it didn't work because of the two
Uh-huh.
people, just one of them or both of them,
Right.
weren't into it as much as the
Mm-hmm.
other one may be.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely hear of stories like where people like were together and then they come back together like later on and it's fine.
Yeah,
But
that can happen. I mean, people,
yeah,
but it also can not work out. They think, oh
exactly.
yeah, well, it's convenient or something.
Mm-hmm.
We did
Already
this
been
once,
through it.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the hardships are already done with. But then you're going to come over that obstacle of, why did this happen in the first place, and that'll
Right.
always kind of be in the back of someone's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. No, I can definitely say with certainty that I would never want to get back with any of my exes. Like, it's weird to think that I'm at this point where I would ever say that, because at first you think I can't live without this person, like I just couldn't. And now you get to this point where you're just like, no, that's a reason why it didn't work out.
I'm not going to get into the details of everything, but
Sure.
obviously, I've gone through a divorce,
Mm-hmm.
a recent one, and I was of the assumption that she was the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily the timing, that's another thing, but I thought this was the person I was going to be with. I had made that up in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It ended up being that she had a change of heart, and at the end of the day, there's nothing that I can do about it or she can do about it. But that's why I'm kind of like, I don't really know if I believe that kind of stuff, because I thought it was the right person. And it's, at the end of the day, it's nothing that I did or she did that changed that kind of things. It was just kind of a change of heart. So like I said, if someone's not into it as much as another person is, and some people fall in and out of love, uh, it is what it is, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So
Right.
that's why I'm just like, if two people want it enough, it can work.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to that topic, since you brought it up, we're not going to get too deep into it. Mm-hmm. You went through a divorce. You're getting back out in the dating scene, at least slowly but surely. You're getting back out there. How has that been for you? Because you guys were together a long time before you even got married, and now you're back in the streets, as they say.
Yeah, and I went from relationship to relationship. So I was in a relationship for 4.5 years, and then with Courtney it was 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really been any dating time for me in the last 10 something years. So everyone, all my friends, even people at work are like, get this dating app or get that dating app. And personally, I've never had one, never had to use one, still haven't used one. I just personally, I don't want to. I don't want to, and I know it's not necessarily forcing, but it almost feels like I'm going on this app for one specific reason, and I don't want to force myself into that kind of world. And I'm hoping that it just eventually happens naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I find somebody out and about, I hit it off with somebody, something along those lines. And I have not found that yet, unfortunately. And I'm not really pursuing, to be honest. I'm not going out of my way. And I may be single for the rest of my life because I have this, feeling
dramatic
of I'm wanting to not have to go find it. I'm hoping that it just either A, finds me, or something along the lines of a woman approaching me or something. And I know that I probably shouldn't feel that way, but personally, I mean, that could change in a couple months. I may have the confidence to go out or want to go and be with someone or try to talk to someone. But right now, I'm just kind of living life and not really trying to dip my toes back into the dating world. Pretty scary out there from everything that I've heard. I've heard from all my friends that they're like, oh, it's going to be terrible. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Can't wait to jump back in it then. So personally, I haven't really tried. Eventually I probably will, but right now, just kind of doing my own thing, living the single life. So
I can tell you that the dating world is very scary. It's just, we're like in this new era where it is so, I kind of touched on this with Patrick in my last episode. It's very toxic because it's like a bunch of games. Like you're trying to see like who can care the less, who is the most like laid back, who's the most chill, like who. And that's just something, because I care so deeply for people. Unfortunately, it is my downfall.
I'm the same. Yeah.
So I think whenever like I connect with someone, I really end up. I'm not the type to play the field. Like I don't talk to multiple guys at one time. I've never been that way. I've tried. I've tried to be that way. I just can't. I can't do it because I'm like, oh, I only have this guy in my mind. It's kind of like playing the field, or I mean, it is hard to find people that are like loyal and like want to just put their time into you and get to know you. And meeting someone organically, I want that too.
Yeah.
But realistically, I don't know if it's possible.
It's very hard.
So, well, I also only like go to bars like when I go out. Like I don't really go and do a whole lot else. So I feel like I'm not putting myself in good positions to meet. I mean, I'm not saying like bad people go to the bars, but I'm also like not putting myself in positions to meet other like any type of person possible.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna meet people that go to the bars on the weekend if that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. My goal this summer is to try to do more things where I may meet more people.
Yeah.
Like, he's so great to meet a guy at a coffee shop. Like,
yeah.
How romantic would that be? I mean, of course, that's like really out there and like rom-com-y kind of way of thinking. But imagine if it worked.
Hey.
You never know.
Fairy tale.
You never know.
Where'd you guys meet? At a bar? It's
You're
like,
right. I mean, it's not
at
as
the
fun.
gym.
Because everyone has that story. Yeah. It feels like that's like where you're meeting people now. The gym, the bar, or dating app.
Yeah. And the whole thing with the dating app and the games and stuff, it's like, I hate that notion of like the feeling if someone double texts or if someone writes and
the other person, everything.
They get it and they're like, oh, I shouldn't respond. I'm like, if you want to respond.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna
sit, if you're free to respond, go ahead.
If you're on your end and you're like, I'm not gonna respond and play hard to get. Like to me, I'm like, no, I don't want to play that game. If you want to talk to me, talk to me. If you don't, then tell me, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll stop. But like, don't sit there and leave me hanging for your amusement because you think that that's a game that we're playing, because we're not playing that game.
Yeah.
You may be, but I'm not. So that kind of stuff just like irks me. And I'm just like, man, do I really want to get into that because I know that's how a lot of people are.
Yeah, no, it's
and the
been a lot.
expectations out there. I'm not a tall guy, but everybody out there, all the girls nowadays seem like, oh, I want this 6 foot, tatted up, and I'm like, 0 for 2. Okay, it's like all these a bad boy 0 for 3. I'm like, I'm nice, I'm short, I don't have any tattoos.
You're describing my type, Bryce.
So it's exactly my point. It's just like too many
Oh.
girls out there for me. Just like I don't have the confidence because I'm like I'm not what they want. And eventually I'll find somebody that doesn't care about all that kind of stuff, and that's what I'm looking for. But it seems like, and I know this isn't the case, not all girls on dating apps are looking for that, but a majority of them are. And so that's just like my confidence is like, I don't want to get on there and just like try to match with some people or whatever it may be. And then they're like, no,
right,
not about it.
Okay, so I feel like it's only fitting whenever I have a guy on that I have to talk about sports. Okay.
Yeah.
So, your favorite sports teams?
We'll list them off. So basketball, we're looking at obviously the Hoosiers, which is inspired by this shirt today. The Indiana Pacers for the NBA. Football wise, obviously the Hoosiers again, which is a rough time. Indianapolis Colts, which also can be a rough time. And then shifting to baseball, I mean, I follow the Cardinals. So I don't really follow IU's baseball team. I know that they're pretty solid, but just I don't really follow them. I don't know the players or anything. So those are my main teams that I pay attention to.
Okay, so out of all of them, what is like your all-time favorite team?
Gonna have to. Well, basketball is obviously my favorite sport. I played it in high school. Our high school was very big on basketball. That was our main thing. So I would have to say the Hoosiers would be my number one. So
there's nothing like going to a game at IU.
Yeah, there isn't.
Nothing at all.
I mean, obviously, college basketball is big, and having the students there. You go to an NBA game, yeah, it's exciting, and the playoffs are pretty fun. But outside of that, you can go to a regular season game. It just doesn't have that feel that like a regular season game that the Hoosiers do. Sorry, my dogs are going wild right now, so they want to come join the podcast.
Oh, who was your favorite player on the team this year for IU?
This year, I mean, the easy answer would be Trace, but for me, being a shorter guy and being a guard, I enjoyed watching Jalen. And I wish that he would stay another year. But I mean, I get it. You got to go to the NBA when you get the chance. These guys, they play their entire lives with, a lot of them with one goal is to get into the NBA. So when you get that opportunity, you have to take it. So I don't blame him whatsoever. But just watching Jalen run the team, especially after X went down, was a lot of fun. So I'd have to say Jalen, and watching him grow over the season. Obviously being a freshman coming in, watching him and grow as a player throughout the year was fun.
Yeah. Talk about a little bit of sports. We're not going to get too much into it just because I don't know much about it. I know enough to follow it. I have my favorite teams. I guess we'll go over my favorite teams real briefly. Like basketball is obviously IU. For NBA, I don't really follow much. Wherever LeBron is, I'm at. That's kind of where it's at.
Just follow the good-looking guys.
Just gotta. Yeah. Well, I don't know if LeBron's good-looking per se, but he is a great player. Yeah. And then for football, we all know this answer. It's the Bengals.
Yeah.
Because of Joe Burrow. It is because of Joe Burrow.
Joey Burrow.
I will be the first to admit that it's because of him. And then for baseball, my favorite team is the Yankees, which is a hot button issue for some people.
Any reason why on that one as well?
So mine originally was because of Derek Jeter.
Okay.
I was a Derek Jeter fan growing up. I have been a Yankees fan since like 8th grade, so this is nothing new. Nothing new. It's because my brother was a fan growing up, so I became a fan because of him talking about like the random stats and stuff. And then I kind of fell off watching them for a while, and now I'm back to watching them pretty consistently. And now my favorite player right now is Stanton. Yeah. Okay. But I like Judge and Rizzo. So, yeah.
You got a pretty good squad. So.
Okay, the next topic. You can't look at those. Those are my rapid fire questions. Cockiness versus confidence. I'm not want to talk about this just because I don't think you're cocky or anything. I'm talking about it because I feel like in today's day and age, how do we tell the difference of what cockiness and confidence is? Like, if you're looking at a girl, tell us what the difference is between her being cocky and her being confident.
It's kind of hard to judge from a woman's perspective, just not being a woman and knowing a lot of the mannerisms.
But like, I guess like, what would you like? How do you observe it? And what would you think? Like, man, she's really confident, or man, she's a little full of herself. Like,
one thing, and this goes for not even women, but just like men as well. The cockiness of the constant staring in the mirror, the constant flexing in the mirror, like don't do that. It makes everyone around you uncomfortable too. That kind of cockiness, and I see it all the time in the gym. Like the dudes will walk by the gym and like they'll like flex and like that, smirk, and women don't do it near as much just because when you think of cockiness, you think of
a man. Yeah.
But I mean, it can go both ways.
Oh, for sure.
I've seen it both ways.
I've been called cocky,
and which is wild to me because I know you. So I mean,
I was pretty hurt by it.
I can see like sometimes whenever you be like snappy with someone, they say that, but I don't think that you're necessarily cocky.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not how I would describe you personally. But
thank you.
I mean, like for me, like I think that I have a decent amount of confidence in the gym, and it's gotten way better over the past year or so. Just obviously, I'm in there all the time, and I'm happy with a lot of the progress I've made. But you will never see me in the gym going out of my way, flexing in the mirror, taking my shirt off in the gym around people.
Not around people, but you do take your little thirst traps.
Yeah, well, there are the thirst traps.
You posted one on Instagram not long ago. That's what I'm going off of.
Shout out to a couple of my friends that gave me the confidence to do that. But I mean, yeah, like I don't like that kind of stuff, like doing that in front of people. Whenever there's other people around, it makes everyone else uncomfortable. And I've also seen people do it and work out like on equipment with no shirt on. And I'm like, don't do that.
Your body sweat's getting all over the place.
And I get the whole, like, if you need to grunt or make noise, but there's people that are
excessive
over the top. To where if I can hear you over my headphones,
there's a problem
with my active noise canceling on,
then there's an issue.
Blaring it,
there's an issue. You need to tone it down.
And I get celebrating, a PR or whatever it may be, but there's times where people just do it to do it, and they just want attention, and that comes back to the whole cockiness thing. Like they just want people to look at them. They want to be the center of attention, and for me, the gym's not the place to do that. It's just I don't know. I don't like that kind of stuff, and I don't like when people. And I know it probably shouldn't bother me, and I should try to focus on myself. But when I can see someone standing right next to me and they're just like flexing in the mirror, or like like that kind of, I just like taking their shirt off next to me. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's the people that probably shouldn't be doing it, but they do it anyway. Which, hey, that's confidence and cockiness.
Right, you're like, hey, you just go for it.
I'm not even sure where to draw the line there because you got them both. So don't get me wrong. It's like I love when people go into the gym, no matter what shape, size, whatever it may be. The fact that you're in there, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I see people in there that, they're struggling.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're in here.
You've made it.
You're doing better than, a lot of people out there that are sitting home on the couch, or they're like, oh, I'll go tomorrow, or I'll do it next month.
They're in there and they're trying their best.
So that kind of stuff, I will never like shame someone for being in there. I have been guilty of shaming people when they do things wrong.
Oh, well,
that
then
bothers
it's like,
me.
Yeah.
That there's an ego lifting that goes on, and I've even had some of the guys that like I know just from seeing him and blah blah blah. We have discussions here and there. Had discussions about these people that are doing like you'll see people on these machines and they're just like swinging and
like,
all these things, and I'm like,
hurt?
You're gonna hurt yourself, one, and two, you'll look like a jackass. Please stop. And if you can do the weight, great. If you can't, don't act like an ass.
It's not bad to be too light of weight. I mean, you don't want to hurt yourself. It's better to do better form.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a guy in there today, and it just makes me laugh. I would never, go out of my way to be like, you look dumb, but like he looks like Bruno Mars. He wears jeans, tight jeans,
To the gym?
a tight shirt, like 4 gold chains, and like bedazzled big glasses with like the curly hair. I call him Bruno Mars every time I see him because I'm like, he looks like Bruno Mars. That kind of stuff. I wouldn't even say that is necessarily cockiness, but the confidence level on that
It's
guy
there. It's up
is top
there.
notch. I'm like, hey,
You do.
I
You.
laugh because I see it and I'm like, I would never. But hey, good for you, buddy. If that's what makes you feel comfortable,
Right.
right on.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Bruno.
Oh, Bruno. I think that's a very off-putting trait in people. Confidence is a whole different thing, but it's also like kind of the same thing, but it's just like doing it in a way that's like respectful.
They almost go hand in hand. And that's with the I did post a picture the other day that, personally, I typically don't post things from the gym, and I get compliments from my friends, family, like that stuff, like all the time, like, oh, you look great, you look great. But it's that time when you post a picture, you're like, man, I feel like people are gonna think that I'm conceited or I'm cocky. There's people that post those things every day,
every single day,
and because they do that, people don't really bat an eye. But because I never post things like that,
they're gonna make, oh,
it was
wow.
it's like, oh, why would you post that? And I almost didn't. It's almost one of the things where I was just like, I'm going to post it to my story. It'll be there for 24 hours and it's gone.
Right.
But I reached out to a couple of my friends and they were like, no, dude, yeah, F it. Just post it on your feed. And I'm like, but then it comes back to the confidence thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I want that out there for everybody just to see all the time because, and I hate the way that this is, but like, social media nowadays, if the picture you post and it doesn't get a lot of likes, sometimes it messes with you.
Makes you think, or like if there's a certain person that doesn't like it that normally always likes your photos, you're like,
why? What's wrong with this one?
Yeah, you're like, hang on, just a second. Yeah,
that was like my thought process, and I'm like, if this doesn't get a lot of likes, I'm gonna feel like a jackass posting this because I'm putting myself out there.
Right.
Something that I typically don't do, and then I had a lot of people either reach out to me or comment on it and like it, kind of hyping me up, and that felt good. So I appreciate all my friends that are not assholes, and I've had a few people that are like, talk shit or like, why'd you post that or whatever, but the majority of my friends, the majority of people that have reached out or talked to me about it or whatever, give me praise. So that it was a good confidence booster.
Yeah.
I work my ass off to look the way I do.
Exactly.
So for me not to share it, why not?
Right.
Why not show it? Why not be confident in myself and put it out there? Because again, I am single. I mean, it is what it is. I'd like for people to see that my hard work. Otherwise, what am I doing it for? Right. Again, I'm doing it for myself to make myself healthy. I like to stay healthy. It's a huge thing. I rarely get sick because my immune system is kicking ass.
Yeah.
But again, let's be honest with each other. Rarely do people just do it for that kind of reason.
Oh, 100%.
They do it to look good.
Yeah.
And so I'm the same way. I'm doing it for a reason. I'm doing it to look good, but to also be healthy. And why not show it off?
Yeah.
So I would just say, be confident. Don't be cocky. And don't worry if other people think that you are cocky. If you're not, and people will still kind of say that shit. And I don't want to be like say anything bad about other people, but I think a lot of times people's perception on other people may be, partly because of their own views and how they act, which is, shouldn't be the case, just because they act a certain way and, you're trying to show like, a little bit of confidence and you're putting yourself out there a little more like, oh, she's being cocky. No, she's not. She's enjoying life, which, you may not have been in the past. Things change.
Yeah, I'm no longer depressed.
I no longer cry myself to sleep.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying myself, so I'm going to share.
Okay. Are you ready for rapid fire questions?
Ready as I'll ever be, I guess. So
they are rapid fire. They need to be quick, okay? Not much time for thinking.
I better finish this real quick.
Good job. Okay. Are you drunk off one?
So needy.
Since you never drink, are you drunk off one?
Oh, I'm feeling woozy now.
Oh, okay. All right. House of Dragon or Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones. Just because it's, am I supposed to?
You can elaborate.
Talk about-
I'm only
okay.
going to let you do it for this one, though.
Okay. Just because it's, 8 seasons. But that could very well could change. We'll see.
Back day or chest day?
Chest.
Okay. Go-to dance move. You don't have to do it, but you can just kind of explain it if you want.
I mean, just an R&B dancing in general. I wouldn't say a specific, move, but I enjoy R&B.
You don't do like the sprinkler, the
No,
lawnmower.
no.
Okay.
No, old style,
Oh, I'm so white. All right, who is your celeb crush?
God, there's a lot. Choose.
Not rapid fire.
Yeah, we'll just go Ariana, just because,
Ariana Grande?
Yeah.
That threw me for a loop.
If you think about my type, it probably makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could time travel to any year in your life.
Oh, I've thought about this question so many times.
Have you
my life. Oh, my life. Oh, not where I thought you were going. Go ahead. I jumped the gun. I
was like, okay, if you could time travel to any year in your life that you've lived so far, which one would you go back to?
Honestly, probably high school, just because I had no worries, no care.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of fun back then.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Life was worth living.
It was fun.
Life was worth living. That wraps it up.
All right.
Was it as bad as what you expected?
It wasn't.
You worked yourself up, didn't you?
Once I got into the flow of things,
Did I not tell you that's how it was going to go?
You did.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so we tried the Sunny D seltzers. We both pretty much liked them, so they are a hit.
Solid. Try them out.
Yeah, not sponsored, by the way. Just gonna go ahead and say that.
Soon,
I wish.
soon.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Okay, so that wraps up Bryce's episode. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Even though you were having a panic attack.
We made it through.
You made it through.
All future guests, it'll be okay.
Yes.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, you guys always work yourself up for it for no reason. But if you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.